Hey guys, welcome to the Writer's Journey. Welcome. Tonight we have Michael Cooper back on the show. If you remember, he was here 2 weeks ago talking about Facebook ads, and we decided we have so much to talk about, we just had to get him back for another show, and that night is tonight. So welcome. I'm your host, Lauren Moore, and with me is Kayleen Williams, and our special guest is Michael Cooper. So Deadpool.
Close enough.
All right, a little bit about Michael Cooper. He is the founder of Aeon 14, a vast science fiction universe containing over 75 books written by 7 different authors. With over 500,000 books sold or borrowed, Aeon 14 is a significant presence in the science fiction landscape, one that creator Michael Cooper will continue to expand, bringing more authors and characters into the fold and to life as the stories of the valiant heroes that make up Aeon 14 increase in scope and volume. In addition to creating Aeon 14, Michael also has a passion for marketing and advertising and teaches classes on how to get your book in front of more readers and to get them to buy. And that's why he is here tonight to share all of his tips, all of his strategies, everything he knows, particularly for 2019, to share it with us. So thanks for coming on the show, Michael.
You're welcome. It's nice to be here.
I'm still completely jealous of that catsuit hood that needs to be a sweater, desperately.
Actually, I'm gonna gesture with a handgun today because that's how I roll. When I was at PAX, I saw a lot of people with hooded sweatshirt like this.
Nice. I need to find one.
How politically incorrect of you to be waving a handgun around.
I should probably take my mask off so that you guys can actually understand me.
Yes.
And the big reveal.
As much fun as it is to actually wear that, but when I was at PAX 2 weekends ago, I actually wore it the entire time. I didn't take it off once the entire day.
Wow.
Nice.
So, I took public transportation, so I got on the train like that, and then walked through Boston like that too. But I didn't have real handguns because Boston is not that friendly to walk around with things that look like real handguns.
So they're more okay with the Deadpool suit, but not a fake handgun.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. What was that like on the train with
the whole bill came up and wanted pictures, so it was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, so yeah, if you're interested in what he looks like in Boston on a train in a Deadpool suit, you can go to his Facebook page and check out all the pictures there.
That's right. Yeah, I put a bunch of pictures up.
All right. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about big picture marketing strategies. We're going to start by looking at what it looks like for new authors, and then kind of go into authors who've been marketing for a while. What are some strategies they might not have thought of? How can they build up their audiences? What are some pitfalls that they can avoid? And we're going to learn off Michael Cooper.
All right.
Yeah. So first off, we're going to start with an outline of some basic but essential marketing strategies, and then go into some ideas that are more advanced. First question: if you were to start out all over again as a fresh-faced, new, brand spanking new author today, what would your marketing strategy look like?
Yeah. No, I was thinking about all that. As you're saying that, I was thinking all this work I've done, I'd have to do it over again? Hell no.
No.
Well, so when I first started, I did everything wrong. So I know what not to do. Authors talk about the heyday, how it was back in 2012, and you put a book out, it was just like money would just magically appear in front of you and fall from the sky and all that. I put a book out in 2012 and made no money from it.
Oh, okay. Even in the heyday.
Yeah, I did everything wrong. I didn't start doing make any real traction until 2016. And the big thing that I did wrong, even back then, was I screwed up my also bots right away.
And how did you do this?
So I didn't know what also bots even were back then. And because I knew a couple of people who did like the newsletter promo sites, what I did was I got them to do promos for my book, and they really do not the newsletter, the blogger, the book blogger thing. And they did some newsletters too and whatnot. But basically what ended up happening is that book blog sites that normally featured romance or urban fantasy books also had my book in there. So of course, what Amazon then did, of course, is put my book on also bots for romances and urban fantasies, the few that it managed to sell, And it took quite a while to recover from that. Actually, it took until 2016 and a lot of Facebook marketing to sort of reset that and get. And I didn't know how to reset. I probably could have done it sooner if I actually knew what I was doing. But yes, the big thing that you really got to do is if you're first starting out is you really got to make sure that whoever you cross promote with is squarely in your market. You know, if you're writing military science fiction, for example, you don't want like cyberpunk or like metaphysical or alien, well, unless your military science fiction has aliens. You don't want even those other subgenres. You want to try and avoid cross-promoting with those people. You really want to get military science fiction books as the things that the people that you're doing newsletter swaps with and so on and so forth, because you want to get those also bots really nailed. The reason why I talk about doing newsletter swaps and whatnot is a big thing that a lot of authors do that they shouldn't do is they start advertising heavily when they've only got one book out. And it's almost impossible to make any money back doing that. What you really should do is you should get that first book out, get some good reviews on it, work with ARC readers, very carefully target people that you think are squarely in your market, and don't worry a lot about sales. Just worry about making sure you've got really good reviews and really good also bots. Get the second book out, do the same thing with the second book. Get the third book out, drop book 1 to 99 cents and market the hell out of book 1. Is really sort of, it's the best way to do it. And I think that works better than rapid release. A lot of people talk about rapid release as the way to go. I've never rapid released. And I see so many people who think the rapid release is going to be this magic bullet that's going to do everything for them. And you hear very few success stories with that strategy. And a lot of people who said, I put all this money into this big rapid release and I didn't sell enough books to do anything.
So what you're more referring to is like the long marketing strategy. You need to plan this out, maybe 6 months to a year, depending on how quickly you might be able to write, or if you have all the books already written.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Really stretch that out and give it time to breathe and ferment and build.
Yeah.
And real quick for new authors, what's an also bot, and how would that feature into this longer marketing strategy as opposed to a quick rapid piece where you're releasing books one every like 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
So what we all kind of hope that people talk about the Amazon algorithm, and actually I hate it when people talk about the Amazon algorithm because it doesn't exist the way they think it does. An algorithm just means a bunch of software and math. So when you talk about the Amazon algorithm, you're just saying Amazon. It's like, but people talk about the algorithm as though it's like the Oracle of Delphi, and if you can just somehow sacrifice the right animal to it, it's going to tell you everything you need to know to be successful. That's not how it works at all. All that Amazon wants to do is to try and sell books to people that it thinks will buy them. And of course, and microwaves and televisions and underwear and socks and everything else too. And so what it does by doing that is whenever someone buys your book, it's going to look at the other books they bought. And those are called the also bots. And you'll see it looks different to different people. Sometimes it's different on the UK site than the US site, but somewhere underneath your book listing is going to be a thing that says customers who bought this book also bought these other books, or something like also purchased by people who purchased this book. It's above for the first line of sponsored AMS ads as well. So you'll get those 2 rows in there. Top ones are also bought, second one's sponsored ads. And what Amazon then starts to do is if you start selling enough books, Amazon will then send emails to people saying, if you like book A, you might like book B. And of course, it only does that if the also bots are successful. So what that means is that if someone goes to, so say, for example, we're all 3 of us, we've done some military science fiction books and we all released them. And I did some newsletter swaps for you guys. And a bunch of people bought your books that also bought my books. Your books might then actually start showing up in my also bought underneath my novel. And what Amazon, and if other people come to my product page on Amazon and they see that your book is listed there underneath mine and they buy it, Amazon will start showing it to more people. And this is what people talk about. They talk about the algorithm. This is what they want to have happen, and they sort of hope and pray that this will happen. And if you don't understand how to make it happen, you're just you're not going to have a lot of success. However, if people see your book there listed in my also bots, click it, and then don't buy, then Amazon will stop showing it to people. And it'll stop suggesting it to people because Amazon doesn't want to put books in front of people that don't sell. So it's basically really logical when you think about it in that respect. So the interesting thing that people forget about, and this is the key to advertising, no matter what you're selling, is people forget that they're advertising to humans. You are not trying to convince Amazon to sell your book. Zuckerberg and Bezos are not buying your book. readers are buying your book. So every step of the way, you have to make sure your book is appealing to the right readers. And that's where a lot of new people get messed up. You know, they're just trying to get a bunch of sales. They want to see that number high. They want to hear the ching in book report, and they'll put their book in front of people that maybe they can get them to buy it because the price is right, or someone else suggested it, but that could fall off very quickly when the price goes back up, or the right person, you know, another trusted author isn't recommending it. That was a really long answer to a short question.
So who's really going to enjoy your book, and then making the book look appealing to them and have the right blurb and everything, and reaching to those authors based on other authors that they like. But then how does also bots come into play with a marketing strategy where you're releasing book 1, you're promoting it. You release book 2 when you have that ready and you're able to promote it. And then book 3 comes out and you drop your book 1 to 99 cents and promote the whole series. Right.
So the reason why you want to wait till book 3 is because it's really hard to make money, have a positive ROI on ads when you only have one book. So because you gotta remember, like when we're advertising books, we're listing our books on eBay. I mean, on Facebook, beside cars and microwaves and much more expensive items. And those people are able to bid a lot more for clicks. Like, for example, if you're selling a car, the value of an email address is like $30 to $45. So they're willing to spend $35 to $45 to get an email address. If you're selling expensive cars, the email address is worth $150. So if it's qualified, that is. So when we're trying to get clicks for like 30 cents, and these other people are willing to bid much higher than we are to get clicks, which is what usually drives our costs up. Because you have to remember, when you're advertising a book on a place like, and this really applies more to places like Facebook and not AMS, but you're not just competing against other authors trying to show their books. You're competing against every other person on planet Earth trying to put an ad in someone's Facebook feed. And so it's a little bit expensive to do that. And I talk about it in some of my talks. I say, like, a good rule of thumb to go with is that 1 out of 30 people that lands on your Amazon page is going to buy. That's sort of what you should assume your starting point is. You might do better than that, but you should assume that. Which means if you pay 30 cents per click, and it costs, and 30 people show up on your 30 people are on your page to buy, that means it costs $9 to sell that book 1. Is that right? Yeah, 3 times 3 is 9, 2 0. Yeah, $9.
Quick math.
I'm always terrified that when I do math on the fly in a presentation like this, it's going to be wrong. And someone in the comments is going to be like, "No, you can't math."
It will be someone in the comments. It will not be Kayleen and me.
Right. It'll be Rick Partlow. He's going to be in there, right? I'm waiting for him. He seems like the kind of guy that would know that.
Rick is here.
All right. So anyway, so you think about it, like if you only got one book and it's priced at $3.99 and you're only making 70%, which means you're making $2.70, and it costs you $9 to sell it. Guess what? You're not making any money. You might as well just go throw it in your fireplace.
Yeah, you want that read through into book 2, book 3, and then you're adding that extra $270, which could, then they're not paying for clicks because they're like, oh, there's more. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that read through is what's going to make your book profitable. And of course, if you're paying $9 to make a sale, you're actually going to need like 5 or 6 books to actually be profitable. But you need to sort of you need to know what your baseline is. So you need to say, okay, well, if I think I'm only getting a sale every 1 in 30, and there's various ways to try and figure that out, then you're like, okay, I need to get my cost per click down to 10 cents per click. Now it's only cost me $3 to make a sale. Now, if only half the people go on to read book 2 and book 3, I'm making money. And you have to understand that. And that's why I say, really what you care about in book 1 and book 2 is just getting a quality product out there that's well reviewed, that has good also bots, and that the right people have been reviewing it and raving about it. And then when you release book 3, then you've got these first 2 books with good reviews, good star ratings, a rabid fan base that can also that they might even start to share your posts and stuff like that. And then and that's when you can start getting the ball rolling. If you can do that really fast, it's okay. Like one of the arguments for doing rapid release is that you then have Amazon's new release window where they say that this book's a new release and you can be in the new release list is only 30 days. So the idea is if you release the books every 30 days and you do well, this assumes you do well, then your book can show up in those hot new releases, for 90 days. Is the idea there. But if you don't do well, then it doesn't matter. Then you don't get that bonus and nothing really matters. So,
but if you can build up at least like the reviews, get those solid
exactly. And that's
like hot readers, then once you do start really pushing the Amazon ads and even Facebook ads, they go to your sell page, they see, ooh, they've got 10, 20, 30 reviews,
Yep.
you should check out the rest of the series. And you have the rest of the series, not just that one book where people would be like, maybe I'll wait.
Especially if they look at your series listing and they see that book 1's got like a 4.7 and book 2's got a 4.5 star rating. They're like, okay, this person can actually make the story keep going. Versus that way they're not feeling that they're taking a risk. And we all know, I mean, it's hard to get reviews. You have to like, offer people, to go wash their floor and clean their house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you're going to get 1 in 100. So if you do a rapid release and you don't have a machine in place for getting reviews, you could end up releasing all 3 books and have like 2 or 3 reviews on book 1. And now when you sort of discerning buyers, like, well, they got 3 books out, there's only 2 or 3 reviews on book 1, and it actually ends up looking bad, not good. Because now it's like, wow, they've released all these books and no one's even like liking them enough to review them.
Do you have any suggestions on how to get more reviews?
Oh, the goose that laid the golden egg question.
What would you? I mean, prostitution might work. I could try. What you really have to do is you have to get in front of a group of readers that you have a bit of a rapport with and basically beg them. You don't beg them like a fool, but you're like, hey guys, like reviews are really important for books to do well. It would mean so much to me if you guys can review my books. I can't give you anything for it because then Amazon will cancel my account and shut me down. But it's super important. I still have to do that. I every now and then have to get in front of my reader and say, hey, by the way, guys, like I know you enjoy the books because you all say that, but more of you are posting here. You like the books than posting on Amazon. Could you do me a solid?
So, but to that, essentially, why mailing list could be important if that's something that can work in what you're able to do. Facebook group, author page, all of those other areas where the readers can meet you.
Yeah.
Those are the places where, you can build that rapport and then be like, so by the way, it's been, 30 days. I know half of you have read it. You've told me you loved it. Could you, Amazon, please, my God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's an important thing to keep in mind too, is that it's funny, you can buy a pair of shoelaces on Amazon and that seller is going to get your email address and be able to reach out to you and ask you for a review and whatnot. But us authors, we're like second-class citizens. We don't get direct access to our customers at all. So working out those ways where you have access to your customers is really important.
Yeah, Lisa Richmond in the chat, she points out not only is it hard to get reviews, but often Amazon will make them magically disappear. And that's a problem too that I've heard of.
Yep. Yeah, Amazon's great like that.
Luke, it's always the 5 stars.
Luke asks, how many reviews are needed for good momentum?
There's people always throw out these numbers like 50 or 100 or something like that. I don't think you need that many, and there's no magic point. There's no point where Amazon says, ta-da, you've reached the magic threshold. We're now going to, now you're sticky or something like that. That doesn't exist. I know I say these terrible things like being sticky doesn't exist and everybody's sad because everybody counts on being sticky. But my argument is that do you really want Amazon's magic to make you successful, or do you want to understand how to make yourself successful?
You can reproduce it and do it again and again.
Exactly, yeah. Which is hard even when you do it once, but it's still, we're all learning this all the time too, and practice makes perfect. But I would say you really want to get at least 20 reviews. And think about how you would feel if you land on a book you've never heard of. You click on a Facebook ad because it was interesting and you land on Amazon product page. At what point do you start feeling like there's a comfortable number of reviews? And I would say that it's in the double digits at least. It's at least 10. You'll go with 5?
Because I'll read a couple 5 stars, and then if they have anything below, then I'll read a couple of those. But my main thing is immediately the look inside.
Okay.
So, if it sounds interesting and I read, the first couple pages and the author voice, I'm like, hey, I like the way this sounds, then I'll buy it.
I have never made a buying choice based off look inside in my entire life. Never done it. The only time I've ever done look inside, if someone asks me if they want to promo if they want to be in my newsletter, I'll go read the look inside to see if they can write or not. But as a customer, I've never done it. Even buying books at the bookstore.
That's how I've always bought a book. It's been like, okay, that title looks cool, that cover looks cool, first page, chapter 1, reading it.
I read the back. For me, it was always cover and back.
I can't do that because it never sounds the same as the way the book's written.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then it totally just throws me off. I'm just like, that's not okay.
So it's cool that you do that because you're actually making a more informed decision. I actually, and I don't know if anyone has data on this. I'd be interested to try and find out. Amazon probably knows.
Oh yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't ever look at the look inside.
Look at the look inside. Change the way. We can
always look at the look inside. If the first page doesn't grab me, I don't buy it.
Oh, high five.
There you guys go. So, so you're making informed decisions, and I'm not.
I don't let people decide for me. No.
Speaking of informed decisions, someone in chat named Jill Cooper, she says, I like 10 reviews so I can book newsletter promos. After that, I try not to look. That's
actually not bad. There are some promo sites that require either 5 or 10 reviews or a certain star rating before you can book a promo with them. So yeah, that is an important thing to consider as well. You might want to look at where you want to book in your plan and whatnot, and then go and beg people to review. Don't beg family members to review, because Amazon will probably figure that out and remove them. And as an author, do not connect your Amazon account to your social media.
Yeah, I was just going to say, have a different email address for Amazon than you do for Facebook, Instagram, all the AMs.
Yeah, all the
AMs. Don't do it.
They'll figure out the linkage, and then they'll nuke your family members, or they'll just nuke, or some people even have found, and I don't think this has happened to me a couple of times now that I think about it, but I have fans who can't review me anymore because they friended me on Facebook.
That sucks.
So Amazon's like, nope.
So you use a different email address, and then is that the email address on Author Central, or is that like your Amazon account?
Good question.
So for me probably personally, my like Facebook and all of my social media is a completely separate email from anything associated with Author Central, with Amazon, even my personal Amazon. It's completely separate, just so I don't want to run into that accidental, oh, it seems like you know this person in real life.
Yeah.
We're just going to totally ruin everything. So basically, like, before you're even getting started, you really need to research, what is it that you've written or want to write? Yeah. What is already out there, so you can hit that, so that you can get those strong also bots, so that you can pull the proper readers, so you don't totally screw up and spend 4 years trying to fix it.
Things not to do. By the way, another great way to do that is by using AMS ads and really hyper focus on authors that are squarely in your genre.
Yes, because you can use other author names and you can use other book titles. I know some people are like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm telling you now, you can.
Yeah, in fact, that is the way to do it with AMS. That's the best way to do it. And people talk about too, like, how many keywords should you put in? 1,000.
As many as you possibly can.
Yeah, which is 1,000.
Yeah, or just hit the cap.
Yeah.
So as I'm scrolling.
I mean, maybe not first if you want to be hyper focused, but once you get rolling, then yeah, you put in just all the keywords.
So let's see. I think I'm gonna cut to the show sponsor, because we're getting to the halfway mark, and then we can dive back into, because I know there's this thing of, what was it, Facebook Pixels that we really want to talk about as well.
Okay, sure.
So, okay, we're going into where'd it go? Okay, into some big picture marketing strategies. But first, tonight's sponsor is Covers for a Cure, which is going to be Saturday, April 27th at 1 p.m. Central. This is hosted through Keystroke Medium. We'll have covers by Tom Edwards and Jamie Glover. Freaking fantastic. I still wish I had done the $1 extra to get the one last year, but I'm definitely getting one this year. So I have money set aside. Anyway.
Cool.
So, but all the funds, they're going to Detective Matt Young. He's a police officer in the Wichita Police Department that Josh and Scott, Scott and once Josh, are a part of. He's a father, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So help him out and his family. All of the money that we procure through there is going to go straight to him. And yeah, can't get much better than that. Amazing covers. Help a guy out.
Cool.
Go team. When is that again?
Oh yeah. Again, for one more time, for the people in the back, Covers for a Cure, Saturday, April 27th, 1 p.m. Central. Be there or be square.
All right.
And okay, so we've talked about strategies for launching a book, strategies you can use in the months and weeks leading up to a book or series launch. We've kind of discussed what we should be doing in the months that follow a book's publication. Let's see, ways to continue funneling people to your books. Sorry, I am totally trying to find a question as I am reading this.
These are the questions. So other than all the strategies for launching a book that go into the marketing and the promo. So say your book's already up there and maybe you're working on your next book and it's taken you months. What should you be doing in the intervening time between publishing your last book and publishing your next book to keep sending and finding new readers, broadening your audience?
Right. So we'll sort of assume that you have enough books at this point that ads are profitable. That you have 3 or 4 books, and that when you run ads, you can actually make money. So you should always be running ads for your books. Very, very few people have enough momentum that they don't have to run ads for their books. And you look at even like the biggest authors in the world, Lee Child, newspapers, websites, everywhere, they run ads for his books. They don't just sell themselves without ads. And you'll see there's lots of other authors too, even like in science fiction, like John Scalzi, like he has ads in magazines and stuff like that. So you always got to be running ads, and don't expect ads to be like I think they're going to have like a 20-to-1 return ratio. Ads are going to have like a 3-to-1, maybe a 5-to-1 return ratio once you get them going. So you put in $3, maybe you'll make 12. Maybe you'll make 15. You're not going to get like a fantastically rich fast, but what you will be able to do is keep new people reading your books, keep new reviews happening on your books, and keep the momentum going. And Amazon does appear to care a little bit about if books are getting reviews. If books are getting any sort of reviews, they do seem to get a little bit more visibility than if they're not getting any reviews at all. So that does help a little bit. Other things you want to do is you want to be running sales. And a lot of people only run sales when they release a new book, but you should be running sales almost all the time. I run a sale almost every week. I have a lot of books that makes it a little bit easier, but you could be like, you drop book 2 down to 99 cents as well. Or use those Kindle countdown deals on book 2 and book 3 when you release them, so that you, after you release them, so that you can actually get what am I looking for? The 70%. I don't know. You guys know that if you run a Kindle countdown deal, you get 70% instead of 35%.
No, and for those who don't know, what exactly is a Kindle countdown deal? Because clearly, I know exactly what that is.
There you go. So normally, with Amazon, for whatever reason, if your book is priced between $2.99 and $9.99, you can get 70% royalty. If your book is 99 cents through $1.99, you can only get 35% royalty, and for a variety of reasons, you can only get 35% royalty above $9.99 as well. So when you run a sale on a book, you drop it down to 99 cents. You go immediately, at $3.99, you're making $2.70 every sale, and at 99 cents, you make 35 cents every sale, which kind of sucks. But if you do a Kindle countdown deal, which you can do underneath the KDP info section, so you mouse over that little thing beside your book, the little 3 dots, and one of them is called KDP info. After a book has been in Kindle Unlimited for 30 days, you can book a Kindle countdown deal, and that lets you run a 99-cent deal and get 70 cents instead of 35 cents. So it's not huge, but you're doubling your money. So if you were going to make $100, now you make $200.
So is this something that is only available to those who are in KU?
Yes, only people in KU get to utilize this particular feature. The other thing that you get is it actually puts a countdown over by the buy box. So where it says buy now, it says like this price is only going to last for X number of days, minutes, seconds, whatever, and then gives them the buy now link, and it shows them what's going to go back to at that point as well. So it adds a bit of extra impetus. They're like, crap, we got a day to buy this before it goes back up. Downside is they're only available in the US and the UK. So your book will be regular priced everywhere else, and it'll have the countdown deal available those. The other thing that you get if you're in KU is you get free days. You get 5 free days every 90 days, which means that you can run your book for free, and you can schedule it. Like, these are the only scheduled price changes in existence in Amazon land, but you can schedule these price changes, which makes it a lot easier to book it all out in advance. And I recommend using those. So between releases, you can figure out some good times to do some sales and whatnot. Maybe get some good swaps going at the same time, and get your book in more people's hands by doing these sales. The other thing that I do is I'm a very strong believer in pre-orders. And the interesting thing about pre-orders is pre-orders count towards your KU time. So when I release a book, what I do is I release, with very few exceptions, I release all my books on Thursday. My pre-orders are at least 90 days. So you have to have a book in Kindle Unlimited for 30 days before you can use these features. before you do
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
So because I have my books all pre-order and at the KU thing checked off for at least 90 days ahead of time, that means I release my books on the Thursday. You have to book countdown deals 2 days in advance. So it gives me a day to forget. And then on Friday, I remember to book my countdown deal for Sunday. And then on Sunday, my price changes to 99 cents automatically, because sometimes price changes take days to go through. And it can be terrifying when that happens. So a lot of times when you're going to run a big sale, you actually change your price like a couple days in advance, just praying that it'll happen. But the countdown deals always go through, and they start at the time you set and whatnot. So on Sunday, my books magically go down to their countdown deal price, and then I start when my emails go out, all my promotions happen, and I make twice the money I would make if I wasn't doing that. So those are some things
not properly been using KU at all.
Yeah, it's cool. And so this is what you do between releases. Obviously, is you figure out times to do this, and you can also time it too. Like for example, say you're like an anthology or something like that. You could maybe try and like coordinate some swaps to go on while you're in anthology. You have more to talk about. You can email your readers about more things. The other thing you want to do is you want to try and get as much information as possible on your readers. So one of the ways to do that is using the Facebook pixel, which we mentioned. I mentioned to you guys, and you guys want to learn more about it. So when you run ads on Facebook, they have this thing called the Facebook pixel. And you guys know about like the Google Analytics tracker that you put on your website so you can see your stats in Google Analytics?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Okay. Yeah, so Google has a thing called Google Analytics, and you can sign up for it, google.com/analytics. And it lets you put a little bit of code in your website. And if you're running WordPress, there's actually a plugin for it. And then you have to put your ID number into the plugin, and it all magically does it. And you can actually go to Google's Analytics website and see like who's coming to your website. They won't give you their names. It just tells you like where they're from, what pages they go to, what pages they land on, how long they stay before they leave. You can get all sorts of fun data from them. Facebook has the same thing. But the interesting thing about Facebook is Facebook knows who is coming to your website.
Right.
Because these people are also logged into Facebook, and so the cookies are. Yeah, so they land on your website. Facebook knows that, like, Kayleen has just come to my website, and she went through these 4 or 5 pages. And now when I'm running ads, I can go into Google's Ad Manager, and you can go into the thing where you create your audiences, and you can create audiences based off who's been on your website and even what books they've looked at on your website.
Oh.
Those are ways to start learning a little bit more about your readers. And that way, if you've got if some people come to your website and they look at your series page and they click the link to book 1, and they click the link to book 2 or something like that, that when book 3 comes out, you can hit these people with ads because they are interested, and they went to your website and they looked at these things.
So how do you set that up?
You got to go into the Ad Manager in Facebook, and you got to click the little 3 lines. The little 3-line thing is actually called the hamburger, just in case you guys are curious. So you got to click the hamburger, and this thing says like all tools. And down at the bottom, you click all tools, and this big thing slides out with like a sea of links on it. And one of them is going to say Facebook Pixel or something like that. And you'll click on that, and it'll actually give you code to put the Facebook Pixel onto your website.
Wow.
So this is the your physical author website that you can put this code into.
Yeah, and you can put that code into BookFunnel too. BookFunnel is a spot where it'll actually ask you for your ID. So here's a cool thing that you can do, and I've been doing this recently. So if you put that pixel in BookFunnel, Facebook will even know when someone registers for your book. So they go to BookFunnel. This is assuming that you have they have to sign up for your newsletter list to get to the book, get the book. Like it's your giveaway or something like that. So they go to BookFunnel, they click download, they plug in their information, and then BookFunnel will actually send that information to Facebook, and Facebook will then know that John Doe just bought your book. And you can actually build audiences on Facebook that you could actually market to people specifically, like show ads specifically to people that got your short story off of BookFunnel.
This is how they know what we're thinking.
This is exactly how they know what you're thinking. Yeah, all of this stuff is going on all the time, and they're watching it all. But we might as well take advantage of it. It's all happening. So these are things you can do, so you know more, so that when your next book comes out, you can target. If you right away, the first thing you do is you target the people they're most likely to buy. Because that helps you. That gets Amazon thinking that people like your book and they want to buy it. And Amazon will then maybe send out an email to people saying you should buy this book and whatnot. So these are all things that work well toward doing that. And actually, as a side note, if you guys know you have followers on Amazon, like you can follow authors and whatnot, when your new book comes out, Amazon doesn't email all of them saying, hey, Michael's new book came out. Amazon emails some of them. And if those people respond well, Amazon emails more, and then more, and then more. But if you've gone and done a bunch of giveaways and a bunch of freebie stuff to build up that follower list, Amazon emails them and they're like, I don't remember who this is. I downloaded 400 freebies last month. I don't have a clue who this is, and no one interacts with it. Then Amazon will stop emailing people about your new release. So it's important to make sure that you don't. It's important in everything you do to not fill up to not get a lot of people who seek freebies to buy your books, because then when the time comes to actually market, they're not going to buy. You're not going to have buyers. You're going to have freebie seekers.
Yeah,
so.
That's like what kind of audience do you want to have? Do you want to have freebie seekers that might not remember you after they put the book down, or do you want to have ones that have sought you out because this is what they read, what they love?
Yeah, and they paid money to get your book theoretically, and one can assume too that it's someone who grabs your book for free without having to provide their email address is less valuable than someone who grabbed your book for free and had to provide your email address. So that stuff, there is a hierarchy to that. Another thing that I do as well is I fill up Pinterest with all of my book covers and lots of cool sci-fi art on my Pinterest account, and I make all of those things pinned from my website, so that when people click all these things, they go to my website, and then I get Facebook data on them, because the Facebook pixel's on my website, and I see all these people that went to this particular landing page from the Pinterest links that I put up. And you can do ad too. So it's a lot, but the free way to do it is just to put a lot of cool stuff on Pinterest, and then people will click through. And the neat thing too is on Pinterest you can put your book covers, and if someone clicks on your book cover and lands on your website, that this person is probably interested in books, versus someone who maybe just saw a cool piece of art and landed on your website. So you can make some decisions that way too, and that's a great thing to do because it's entirely free. Just other than your time, but.
So for me, curious question, with this Pixel link, where exactly are you putting this for gathering this info? Like,
you mean like how do you utilize it once it's all there?
Well, okay, so I'm building a website.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not savvy with building said websites. Where is this Pixel linkage going to gather all this data?
So what you're going to want to do is that pixel link is going to be a bit of JavaScript code that's going to go inside your website somewhere. I'm relatively certain that WordPress has a plugin, like a Facebook pixel plugin, or maybe it's like a Facebook ads plugin. I'd have to double check, but there should be some sort of Facebook plugin that will let you put this pixel in. So the pixel normally is just it's like a bit of code, but if you use the plugin, you probably just have to put the ID number in. So everybody has like an ID with their account, and you just get like this 9-digit ID or something along those lines. You don't have to plug it into a box; it'll just magically work. If you don't have that, if you don't run WordPress, you might have to actually put a piece of JavaScript code into your website. And not everybody knows how to do that. So there's yet another thing you can do. And these are all options. Facebook actually has a very good help article that explains all the different ways to get this onto your website, because they want to track everything. So they want it on your website. And one of them is to actually just put an image. It's a 1 pixel by 1 pixel transparent GIF that you just put on every page, or you put in your footer or something like that. So if you can edit your footer with an image in, you just put this. And this is actually what I did, because for whatever reason, and I'm actually relatively savvy at this sort of thing, but it wasn't tracking properly. So I just grabbed the image and I stuck it in my footer, and it works like a charm. So just by putting this 1 pixel by 1 pixel transparent image in my footer, I now have tracking on every page of my website. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Their help article is quite good. So if you have trouble, I would recommend that. And then when you go into make an ad in Facebook and you create an audience, there's so an audience is where you pick like what their interests are, what country they live in, all that sort of thing. You'll see this thing for like making audiences, or like putting in all the interests, and there'll be like this little text link that says create new audience, and you'll hit that and they'll give you a drop down. And one of them is like create audience from existing data or from pixel data. I forget it. They change the wording every now and then, but it's going to say something about existing data. And if you click that, then it's actually going to let you start targeting people who went to your website. And you can do it all the way down to the page they went to. Like you put a URL, like people who went to this page, show them this ad.
Okay, so everybody listening, watching, geek out on the pixel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really key stuff to use.
Then Lisa Richmond asked how to install a Facebook pixel.
Did she ask that before I just said all those things? Because I kind of, I might have already answered that.
Yeah, I think you said to go to Facebook ads, and then it's in
the ad manager. You click the hamburger in the upper left-hand corner, and a drop-down menu comes down, and then a text link at the bottom that says all tools. You click that, and then like at the second column, there's a thing to get the Facebook pixel. So that's how you'll find it. And then there's a help on that page that tells you how to install it.
So we've been talking a bit more about like the author website, which I've seen a lot of authors. Should I make one? Do I want one? What do I do with it?
Make it as simple as possible, as simple as you can get away with. That's what I recommend. But you do need it.
Yeah, so I was going to say, yeah, how can an author utilize the website? Certainly with the Pixel, so you can definitely a place where you can send people to gather all that info that you can use on your Amazon ads. You can use it on your Facebook ads. You can use it in the way that you advertise, market, who you're sending it to, yada, yada. But you also had mentioned affiliate links last time that you were on.
Right.
Can you explain to us how to utilize such linkinnesses
so
on your website?
An affiliate program with like almost everybody who sells stuff has affiliate programs. And what they want you to do is they're going to give you links that you get a bit of a kickback on. And then you can market their products and whatnot. And it's a way for them to basically get free ads without a lot of effort. Well, not free, because if someone buys, they give you a bit of a kickback. So Amazon's program is affiliate.amazon.com. You sign up there. And then you can make links for your books. And I think on a book, you maybe get like a couple of cents. You're not going to get that much money. But the thing it does give you is it gives you tracking if someone buys. Now, the tracking is not great because there's a bunch of scenarios where they don't give you affiliate credit for something that you did, but you get about half of them show up as something that you get credit for. So the cool thing is when you install, once you get the affiliate program in place, you can go into your profile on affiliates.amazon.com and tell it you want to use the site stripe. And once you use site stripe, then at the top of every Amazon page, when you're on Amazon.com, is a little bar, and you can click a word that says text. It'll actually give you an affiliate link. So it'll give you like a pre-shortened little affiliate link. And then whenever you talk about your book, you give the affiliate link. And then if people buy, then you actually know that the thing you were doing worked. And you can set multiple tracking IDs. So you can have like a tracking ID for your website, a tracking ID for posts on Facebook. And you can then see like, or did my posts on Facebook did anyone actually ever click and buy versus the stuff in my emails. Now, Amazon specifically states that you cannot use affiliate IDs for any scenario where keywords are being bid upon or in anything that's considered to be offline. So offline is the back of your book, and they consider an email to be offline as well, which annoys me because it's like an email is not offline. An email is totally an online thing. I don't receive any emails offline that I'm aware of. So if you do put affiliate links in your back of your book, in your ads, or in your emails, you're breaking the terms of service for Amazon's affiliate program. That being said, I put affiliate links in all those places.
Yeah, that was one of my questions because I knew people were going to be wondering in the back matter, can I use those affiliate links?
And the thing is, like, that's the only way that you can track whether or not a marketing thing you're doing is working.
They're working, yeah.
So I always, my caveat is always say to Amazon, if you gave us a tracking mechanism where you didn't have to pay us, I would gladly use that. I would much prefer to have like something that I can actually use and that is accurate versus the affiliate system, which is not accurate. Well, it is. They don't give you credit for everything because the user might have clicked someone else's affiliate link right before yours. So they always, it's sort of a first come first serve scenario. But I would say, like, if Amazon just gave us a tracking mechanism, like a lot of us authors who are doing a lot of sales, we're spending like $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month sending people to Amazon.com. And like, in what other marketing scenario do you do that and have no feedback as to whether or not it's working? It's
like help us.
Exactly. Help us stop doing things that aren't working.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
But yeah, I mean, and if you're nervous about it, then maybe use an affiliate link on an ad for a week or so just to see if it's working, and then change the link, because you can change links on ads without it affecting your social proof. Anything else you change on an ad, it will remove your what was the word I'm looking for? It'll remove the comments and likes and everything. I should say a caveat, a possible workaround is that in theory, books to read is a safe place to redirect through and get your affiliate links through. So books to read, books2read.com is a redirection service that is actually run by the Draft to Digital guy. So you put your books into that, and then it will actually do geo redirection. And if you're wide, it'll actually redirect people to their preferred vendor, and it will put in your affiliate tags as well while it does that redirection.
And can you use that even if you publish under Amazon and the KU and all that?
Yep. You don't have to publish through Draft to Digital to make use of that. The guys at Draft to Digital are great. They let people use their tools for just about anything. Like, you can even go to Draft to Digital and upload a book, and they have a system that basically does the same sort of thing as what was it not Scrivener, the other one that people use to make their books look pretty.
Vellum,
yeah. So they have an online tool that's like Vellum. So you take your Word doc, you upload it, and it'll format your book and give you like pretty headers and little graphical line breaks and whatnot. And it gives you the EPUB and the Mobi to download and throw on Amazon.
Yeah, not good. I made a PDF like step by step so that I would know exactly what to do when I was on like book 3, so I could not, so it wouldn't be different from book 1. I was like, do this, add that there, put this there.
This thing, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Yeah, Draft to Digital. I mean, yeah, definitely check them out. I mean, even if you don't publish through them, I mean, there's so many tools that, you know, they're just like, use them.
Yeah, exactly.
With the thing, you know, we're helping you to help us to help you.
Yeah.
That's how that works. And we did have a earlier viewer question from Jay Clifton Slater. He says, I hear Amazon is adding a lot of new categories. Are they effective, or are the new categories just a splattering of words people are searching for? In short, should we be searching for and using the new categories?
I don't think categories matter at all anymore. Amazon used to make it so that the categories were much more visible than they are now. In fact, like right now, the only place that a user can actually find categories for books is if you happen to be ranking. Well, I guess no, they always show your top 3 no matter how well you're ranking them. So right underneath like your book data, there'll be those 3 categories. They used to show down at the bottom of the page all the categories you were in as well, but they don't show that on the page anymore. But the thing is, if you're browsing as a user, you know, John Q user coming to the website, it used to be that you could see these sales categories through the regular browsing process and run into them, but they don't do that anymore. Now Amazon only shows the popular categories. So the sales rank categories, which is what authors usually look at, are things that the readers almost never look at. And the sales rank categories are done purely based on sales. So basically, if my book is 99 cents and your book is $9.99 and we both sell 10, we both get the same rank boost off of that. The popular lists are different. The popular lists they actually take into account how much money Amazon is making off of these sales. So Amazon will feature books that are priced higher and still sell well in the popular category. So if you go to Amazon, you click Kindle Store, and you kind of navigate through, you're going to end up in the popular categories, and they don't even use the same category names. The popular categories is the ones that we listed. So
that is so confusing. They've become a high school.
They really have, yeah. And on top of that, Amazon on mobile, you almost can't even get to free books anymore. They've almost made it impossible to get to free books on mobile and stuff like that because they want to promote things that make more money. So what I prefer to do, and unfortunately, this is something that's really hard for people to get access to. So there's 2 ways of running AMS ads, and one of them is by using the Advantage AMS ads, and one of them is by using the poor sad KDP ads. Although the KDP ads are not as sad as they used to be, but they're still pretty sad. So if you happen to be a person who managed to get access to the Advantage ads, and you can't anymore unless you're a person who actually wants to ship 2,000 hardbacks to Amazon. If you happen to get the Advantage ads, you can actually get this report that will tell you what people searched for when they bought your book, which is pretty freaking amazing.
Oh my goodness.
For a little while, they accidentally had this report available in the regular KDP ads, and they realized they made a mistake and took it away. I hope that they'll put it back in at some point. However, it is a little bit easier to get the UK Advantage ads. And if you actually go to Mark Dawson's group, I think possibly someone even posted 20 books how to do this as well. There's like a bunch of steps you can jump through to actually get the ability to run AMS ads in the UK, and that system will actually let you get this report. But it's an interesting thing because then what I do, so I had always put in LGBT to get in the LGBT categories. But what I discovered is that I sell a lot of books books to people who search for lesbian fiction. Now, Amazon, if you actually just Google KDP keywords, Amazon has pages that tell you what the keywords are to get you in each category. So what I did instead is I realized that the word lesbian will get me into the LGBT category as well. So now I have a keyword that says lesbian fiction instead of LGBT. So that way I get people that are typing in searches and they get in the category. So I also believe the KDP Rocket can give you some of this information as well. So if you use their service, they can tell you a lot more about what people search for, what people actually type in when they search versus, just the words to get you in the categories. And then ideally what you want to do is try and do both. Try and find words that will get you into categories, which I don't think do that much anymore. Not like they used to, and will be the things that people search. And the one nice little category is if you can get into a category where you can get a bestseller tag or a hot new release tag, then it's worth it. Then I think that actually matters. But if you're putting yourself into categories where you stand 0 chance of actually getting an orange tag, then I don't think they really matter that much.
So at the end of the day, research, what you're writing as far as what's out there so you can target the right readers.
Yeah.
If rapid release is right for you, if you feel like that's what you need to do it. you know, but just find those readers faster. Try and get those mind went blank. Reviews. Try and get those reviews quicker. If you want to go like the long haul, you know, build up that pacing and
yeah, a lot of it depends too, like on people. They do a rapid release, but they you know, they can get 3 books out, one a month or one every 3 weeks, but it took them a year to get ready for that. So then what are you going to do for the next year? You know, so if that's just the scenario you're in, where you can do a rapid release, but you can't follow up with it, then it's really not going to do that much for you. I think if you could do a rapid release and then you just keep going, that's an entirely different scenario. And that can actually be pretty good. But I see a lot of people where they do these rapid releases and they get some traction, but it takes them 9 months to get the next book out. And by then they've lost it all. Whereas I feel like they could have just done a slow and steady process instead and probably had the same results. Now, you wouldn't have seen the same big spike because it would have been more spread out across this process. But by the same token, you might have spent less money and had less aggravation as well.
So yeah, definitely think about how quickly can I write, you know, what's really going to work for me in the long haul. Like a lot of this, what I think a lot of new authors miss is, you know, you really do need to think a year, 2 years in advance. You know, how quickly do you write? You know, how quickly can you get from blank page to finished novel with, you know, editing however it is you're financially able to get it, to covers, research, to putting it on Amazon and all the other places that are available, you know, to getting to that second book. Like what is like physically, you know, possible for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's a book a month, you know, freaking fantastic. You know, if that's, you know, a book every 3 months, you know, run with what's the best for you. And all of these strategies, I think, can be used, you know, in all of those scenarios. It's just how quickly are you yourself able to get it done? Get her done. I said it. Don't regret it. Is there anything that is just burning in your mind that you just really wanted to share with us as far as marketing strategies? I'm putting you on the spot. I'm doing it.
Totally are. Well, it's not where cosplay, because I don't think this actually works for that much. But actually, I am trying this. I'm doing a thing where I'm going to go cosplay places, and I'm going to give people my card. And then one side's going to be cosplay stuff, and the other side's going to be books. Because I actually picked up readers by cosplaying at PAX.
It's so fun. You know, I haven't got to wear this wig in like 2 years, and I'm like, yes, I'm doing it.
Yeah, so I mean, this obviously, this would be a thing that maybe think about other things in your life where you can leverage this. But what I did is I did a lot of cosplay at PAX 2 weeks ago, and I was probably in about 600 photos with different people. Some of them I photo bombed, some of them people actually posed with me. And I watched the people who were doing the hashtags on Instagram, you know, hashtag PAX, hashtag PAX East and whatnot. PAX is a big gaming convention. 60,000 of me and my closest friends were there. And so I was watching all the hashtags, and if someone had one of my pictures of me in it, I commented. And I tagged myself in it by doing that. And some people actually went and looked at my page on Instagram, clicked the link to my book page, and realized I was a science fiction author, and sought me out the next day to talk to me about books.
There you go.
And this was without me doing anything, without having a card or anything like that. I'm thinking, what if I had a card that said tag me and had my tagging information on it, and I got, you know, 600 people to tag me after I was at an event or something like that? You know, like, what could that do for my social media? Might be terrible. Who knows? Depends, I guess, how good the pictures look. But maybe there's things like that you as an author do, where you might be able to, you know, combine one of your other interests that you like to do, where you get to go out and be around people and whatnot, and that has a social media aspect as well, and combine that with your author social media stuff and try and get some more action going. The other thing that I think that people might be interested in knowing is I did a rather long and involved experiment going wide, and I've decided to go back into KU all in result of my experiment. So what I did is in November of 2017? No, it was January 2017. January 2018. I can do years, I know them. I took one of my series out of KU, only had 2 books in it, and I put it out wide. And it actually does very well wide. And I thought, well, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my other series and put them wide. And I sort of hit this critical tipping point where a lot of KU readers started to think, well, there's not enough of these books are in KU anymore, so I'm just not going to bother with them. And so I expected to see a certain amount of my KU reads go away from doing this, but what actually ended up happening is I ended up losing 60% of my KU reads by taking 3 of my 19 series and putting them wide.
Just
so,
three? Oh my
19 series putting them wide. Yeah, it took about 3 months, but the KU revenue just plummeted because what I didn't take into account is all the KU people who are either A, thinking, yay, all these books are in KU, I'm going to soak them all up, or B, starting in these other series and then moving on to read the rest of my books, and the impact from that was huge. So yeah, so I've been a pretty big advocate for going wide, and I think I was actually I had books that were in the top 10 on other retailers for over a year. So I think I've done fairly well wide, and it still wasn't good enough to make up for leaving KU in science fiction. Every genre is different.
So for you, for just I guess clarification, how tightly linked are each of your series to each other? That maybe that might be a reason why.
Yeah, well, they are. Yeah, my series are all very tightly linked, and I do that because I want to be able to advertise one book in one series and have someone go read 75 other books. And because that was sort of one of the main things I was doing that was working really well for me, because some of my series I don't advertise at all. I probably only advertise half of my series because I don't have to. I have certain series that work really well starting points, and I advertise those, and then people spread out to the rest of the books. But the fallout of taking enough of these certain sort of critical mass of these series out of KU caused a pretty big blowback. I still think that people want to try doing KU. Going out of KU, they should if they think it might work for them. They have reasons for it. But yeah, for me, after a year and a half almost, I decided it's not worth it.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why I asked, because like if all of your books are sort of like tightly knitted together, if other authors, hey, I've got this steampunk, I've got this western, you could play around with going wide with some, keeping some in KU, but I mean, does that make sense? Yeah, if you're tightly, you might want to keep them together.
And if your books are tightly woven together, it's easier to market them as well. So it's sort of a catch-22. You'll do better marketing them as long as they're all in KU. That's sort of my, and I'm going to do some more examination, and maybe I'll post some stuff about it. But that's sort of where I am right now, which bums me out. The other angle too is it's a lot more work to advertise to all the different vendors, and even things like running a sale. Like you're on 3 or 4 different vendors, and you actually have to go to like all these different websites and change your promo prices on your books and make sure they all happen and stuff like that. It's actually a giant pain in the ass. And on top of that, I didn't get any book bubs. So I'm like that was like part of my logic for this is people are like, well, if you're wide, you're better chance of getting a book bub. And they offered me a couple of international book bubs, and let me just tell you, if book bub offers you an international book bub, do not take it. You will lose money.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I mean, at least in science fiction, because they're $170, and the last one I did, I sold 200 books at 99 cents. So 200 times 0.35 does not come to 170. Not even close. So I think I lost like $100 doing that on book bub even.
Lisa in the chat, she says that this advice is counter to what a lot of people have been talking about doing over the past year, going back into KU.
Well, I mean, another example would be Mark Dawson. Are you guys familiar with Mark Dawson?
Yep.
So Mark Dawson was probably doing like $20,000 to $30,000 a month, and he moved everything into KU, and he's probably making $170,000 a month now. So he's someone who did the opposite, and it's worked out very well for him. There are people who go into KU and nothing ever happens. Like they go to KU and just doesn't do anything for them. So that could happen. But by the same token, sometimes these people weren't doing anything wide either. They weren't selling any wide books either, so it can be tricky. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to bring a series into KU that's never been there now too. So I'm kind of hopeful that will actually work really well for me.
Oh my goodness! Well, I can't wait to see what other tips and tricks you come up with, because honestly, I have, I've been wide, I've been in KU, and I have not been using either even remotely close to the potential that they hold, which makes me sad. But I'm going to use it all when I relaunch at some point.
Are you going to relaunch wide, or are you going to relaunch in KU?
So that I'm going to ferment on. Because my whole thing with wide is, it's going to be this giant pain in the ass, because I'm going to have to really focus on all these markets, but at least in KU, it's just like this one thing. It's got this one thing I got to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ways to think about it too is KU. The readership in KU is the size of all the other retailers combined. So I think it's something like 15% of all readers are in KU, 15% are spread across the rest of the retailers, and then the rest of everybody just buys books on Amazon. So that means if you're running ads for books in KU, one ad targets 85% of the readers. Whereas if you're going to run ads wide, now you have to run ads for everybody, and none of your ads target that 15% of readers. Or voracious readers. Every ad you're going to run specifically does not target them, and they're not going to buy your book. So it's, from an advertising standpoint, you get a lot more bang for your buck by being in KU, and you can use those tools. One thing of note, just because I mentioned doing pre-orders, and some people swear by pre-orders, some people swear at pre-orders. If there's one thing that Amazon does care about, they care about the selling performance of your book. So does your book consistently sell over time? And if you're starting out new like you are, and you do a 90-day pre-order, that could actually really hurt you. Because what could happen is your book could be for sale for 90 days as far as Amazon's concerned and not sell that many copies. So if you want to do a pre-order and you don't have a big audience, I would recommend doing as shorter pre-orders you can get away with for whatever your strategy is. And I actually recommend it for just about everybody that you should maybe do a week-long pre-order at the very least. Because you see so many authors that they go to launch a book and like they release it and they're ready to do their newsletter, but crap, it's not up in Canada. Or it's wonky in Australia or something like that, and they have to wait till the next day. Whereas the nice thing, if you do a pre-order, like even a week-long pre-order, it will come out exactly when it's supposed to come out, and you can plan everything around that. Because if you're doing swaps or something like that, and Amazon forks it, your book doesn't come out properly, then some of your swaps won't happen. So that's
lots to think about. Did you have any last-minute questions, Lauren?
No, I was just thinking, I'm pretty sure I need to watch this episode again.
Oh my God, no. Yeah, I'm gonna be having my notebook so that I can be like, oh, that's a good one right there. I'm gonna write that down because my brain's not gonna remember everything. It's swimming with all the things. So
if this is pretty last minute, but on the off chance if anybody lives in New England, I'm going to be talking about this topic and how to build a massive world at the New England speculative fiction writers in Portland, Maine. I couldn't remember if it was Portland, New Hampshire, but Portland, Maine on Saturday. So if you go to NSA, New England Speculative Writers, I think is the website. You can actually go to that. And I'll also be talking about these topics at Inkers Con on May 5th and 6th. That's like ink as in writing books, not as in tattoos. In Dallas as well. So if anybody wants to go to that one is by and large, from what I can tell, I might be the only guy at that entire conference, aside from one other speaker. So I'm pretty sure that it's a very romance heavy conference. But if there's any romance authors out there, that might be a cool one to go to. And then if anyone is going to Space Coast in the very end of June, Space Coast Book Lovers, it actually is it's like you can see the launch pads at Cape Canaveral from the hotel kind of thing.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, and they actually it's actually a signing, but they also have stuff for authors too. But they actually get 450 readers who come there for the book signing to buy books and whatnot. So that's gonna be cool. I'll be talking about ads there too if anyone is in the Florida neighborhood.
Yeah. So for anyone listening, all y'all watching, if you can be to any of those things, go to them because this guy can talk some awesome things, and he's super fun to be around. Heck, he got me in a Luna wig, so it's always fun.
Actually, the crazy thing too is for the New England one on Saturday, I said if enough people signed up, I would actually do my presentations in cosplay there. So I'll actually be wearing this on Saturday to my presentations. I might get heckled. I don't know. I'm not sure if this would be a great idea or the worst idea I've ever had, but we'll see what happens.
I'm crossing my fingers for you. So thank you so much for coming on the show. Can you remind our viewers and listeners of where they can find you and your work?
Certainly. So my fiction books are all on aeon14.com. That's AEON 14.com. And if you want to find me on Facebook, you just look for MD Cooper Author is my page. Or if you want to reach out and message me or ask me anything, feel free to do that.
Awesome. Yay! So this was super fun. My brain is heavy with all the ideas and things that I need to utilize and will utilize. And to everyone in the live chat, thanks for hanging out with us. Let us know what you thought about the show in the comments and show your support with a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. So you always know. Huh?
And hit the bell.
Oh, hit the bell. Yes, they have a bell now.
Yeah. YouTube changed their notification system, so you have to subscribe and hit the bell. Otherwise, it won't tell you when there's new episodes.
Oh, thank you. I am not currently typing in here a note about the bell. So yeah, hit the subscribe button, click the bell so that you always know when we've got more shows going on. For Lauren Moore, I'm Kayleen Williams. Thank you for joining us on your writer's journey. We'll see you next time to talk about some reading, writing, and everything in between right here on The Writer's Journey. Ooh, changed it. Night, guys.
Thanks, everybody.